Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of Artificial Intelligence. This is second video in series of constraint satisfaction problems. If you have not seen previous lecture video, that is lecture number 17, then it is advised to understand that lecture before commencing forwards. Link to lecture 17 will be provided in the description below and as well as in the I button above. This is the agenda of today's lecture. In this lesson, we will study in how many ways CSPs can be devised or formalized or made, and what are local consistencies in CSPs. In introductory lecture to CSP, which was lecture 17, we discussed basic concepts about CSPs and understood working of CSPs through worked examples of Sudoku and map coloring problem. We are now well aware about concepts of variables, domains, and constraints. A constraint satisfaction problem, or CSP, is a computational problem where input consists of a finite set of variables and a finite set of constraints, and where the task is to decide whether there exists a satisfying assignment of values to the variables depending on the type of constraints that we allow in the input. In previous lecture, we studied that variable set is always finite, discrete, or in simple words, countable, which means that you can always count total number of variables in a CSP problem. Though variable set is always discrete, but it can take values from either finite domains, infinite domains, or continuous domains. In CSPs, domain is a set of all possible variable values. Domain further has three variations. It can be finite, it can be infinite, or continuous. Let's discuss all of these three one by one. Domain set is discrete or finite when it has limited number of values. In simple words, when domain set has countable number of values in it, then we say that it is discrete or finite domain set. Like in map coloring problem, domain set had limited values which were 3, that is red, green or blue. Set constraint satisfaction problems that make use of finite or discrete domain set are the simplest. Second type of domain set is infinite. In such domain set, values are limitless. For example, set of integers or strings. Job scheduling problem, that was your reading assignment, is also of infinite domain. If we didn't put a deadline on job scheduling problem, there would be an infinite number of start times for each variable. When we are faced with such domain that is never ending and can take almost all possible values, then making possible combination of values for variable assignments become challenging task, which results in infinitely many solutions. To handle such domains that have infinite set of values, special constraint languages are used. Constraint language is such language that understand constraints. For example, like job scheduling problem, like this example here, constraint languages are self-defined and are different for each problem. More formally, appropriately choosing a set of constraint types according to the problem is known as the constraint language. Constraint satisfaction problems with continuous domains are common in real world and are widely studied in the field of operations search. Time-related values, as time is continuous entity, space-related values, etc. come under continuous domain. Another example is the scheduling of experiments on space telescope like Hubble Space Telescope, which requires very precise timing of observations. The start and finish of each observation and results are continuous valued variables. Another example is of weather station that stores continuous weather data without any break. All those systems that record continuous value without any break are problems of continuous domain. This was your reading assignment from previous lecture. I hope you have already read this topic. Job scheduling problem is temporal. By temporal we mean time related. In this problem we are given with starting times and durations for all jobs. T1 shows starting time for first job. T2 shows starting time for second job. D1 is duration taken by job 1 to finish. This T1 plus D1 is less than or equal to T2 is constraint language, as it defines the ending criteria of one job and starting criteria for other in form of rules. The constraint languages says that before starting of task 2, task 1 must be finished. For details, read topic 6.1.2 from book. In addition to examining the type of variables that can appear in CSPs, it is useful to look at types of constraints as well. Unary constraint is the most simplest type of constraint. When constraint or rule is applied only on single variable, then we say that this is unary constraint. For example, suppose if in map coloring problem there was given an additional constraint such as South Australia or SA can never have the color green. We can express that with unary constraint. For example, SA is not equal to green. Here only constraint is applied on single variable SA. This green is domain value, it is not variable. In binary constraint, as the name suggests, only two variables are involved. When constraint is in between two variables, then we say that this is binary constraint. For example, in map coloring problem, constraint was that no two adjacent locations can have similar color. Here two variables were involved, as SA was also a variable and NSW was also a variable. Only binary constraints can be represented using constraint graphs. Constraints involving more than two variables are called high-order constraints. For example, you have to register in a subject. Let's say it's X. Then you have to study course. Let's say it's Y. And then you will be able to pass exam. Let's say it's Z. You cannot pass exam by directly registering. You have to study course in order to clear the subject. Thus, three variables X, Y and Z are involved, in which one comes in between other. Such constraints that involve three variables are also known as ternary constraints. A constraint that can have random or arbitrary number of variables. By arbitrary we mean random. Such constraint is called global constraint. All different is most common global constraint. For example, in Sudoku, we saw that all variables were being assigned different values from domain, and in each block, different number of variables were assigned, thus making it random or arbitrary. Another constraint type is preference constraint. Preference means choice. Let's understand this through an example. Suppose in university class scheduling problem, there is confirmed constraint or rule that no professor can teach two classes at the same time, but might allow preference constraints like Ms. Humaira prefers early morning classes, Dr. Salimullah prefers afternoon classes, etc. Preference constraints can be encoded as utilities on individual variable assignments that are part of overall objective function. The higher the utility is, the higher will be the preference constraint and vice versa. The problem becomes a constraint optimization problem which can be solved using optimization search methods, either path-based or local. We can convert any number of constraint or n-ary constraint to binary. For example, a ternary constraint that involves three variables A, B and C, just like this, can be easily converted into binary constraint by using an auxiliary variable AB. From this example, we can see that adding A and B equals C. We can add A and B and place its value into a third variable AB, then make it equal to C. In this way, the problem will involve two constraints A, B and C, thus converting ternary constraint into binary constraint. As we have already seen in case of state spaces, that solution can only be found by searching. Algorithm cannot find solution by any other means other than searching for it. This algorithm can do only one thing, that is to search for solution. But in the case of CSPs, we can do both, that is to search for problem from all domain values, or we can do constraint propagation. Constraint propagation uses constraints to reduce number of legal values for a variable. Constraint propagation is the process of communicating the domain reduction of a decision variable to all of the constraints that are stated over this variable. This process can result in more domain reductions. These domain reductions in turn are communicated to the appropriate constraints. This process continues until no more variable domains can be reduced or when a domain becomes empty and a failure occurs. An empty domain during the initial constraint propagation means that model has no solution. Constraint propagation may be intertwined with search or may be done as a pre-processing step. For example, in map coloring problem, we have 7 locations. Thus, variable set has 7 variables. As we can count total number of variables present in variable set, thus it is finite. We have domain set of 3 having values of red, green and blue. As we can count values in domain set as well, thus it is finite. Then finally we have constraint set. As rules for map coloring are that no two neighboring or adjacent locations can have same color. Thus, inequality in constraint set shows that no two adjacent locations are same. As in single constraint, 2 variables are involved. Thus, this is a binary constraint problem. Except for one location, Tasmania. As Tasmania do not have any adjacent location, thus it can take any color from domain, which makes it unary constraint problem. When constraint propagation starts, map is initially not colored and each variable can be assigned any of 3 colors from domain. This is the starting point of the constraint satisfaction problem. Variable WA can take any color from this domain which currently has all of 3 colors. And same goes for all of these variables. In constraint propagation, when WA is assigned red, the option of red gets omitted from domain set of its neighbors, which are NT and SA. This means that domain set is reduced for NT and SA, and constraints are propagated or promoted down the line for all of the constraint variables. This means that red is no longer available in the domain sets of NT and SA to be chosen as a choice for the variable assignment. They can now only choose from either blue or green. Let's see what happens when Queensland chooses color. As it has 3 neighbors, as Queensland has 3 neighbors, Northern Territory, South Australia and New South Wales. Thus, green would be removed from domain of all of these 3. The neighbors of Queensland are NT, SA and NSW. As can be seen from figure, green is removed from the domain set of all of these 3 once it is chosen by Queensland. This results in domain reduction and constraints are propagated down the line. Domains have been reduced for the variable NT and SA. Propagation algorithms identify and remove unfeasible values efficiently. Propagation is also called filtering and algorithms are known as filtering algorithms or propagators. Propagators or filtering algorithms can be used to reduce the search space and make the problem easier to solve. By now we know that constraint propagation or filtering is simply using of constraints to reduce domain values that can be assigned to variables. Algorithms for constraint propagations are designed using local consistency property. Local consistency is property of variables based on their constraints. Here we will learn in how many ways we can design constraint propagation or filtering algorithms. A clean way of designing propagators or filtering algorithms is by means of the concept of local consistency. A local consistency property allows identifying unfeasible values that are inconsistent, that is not satisfying the rule or constraint. These are called local because only small pieces of problem are considered, typically one constraint at a time. Enforcing a local consistency property means propagating, removing the inconsistent values until the property is achieved. Enforcing local consistency should be cheap, thus solvable in polynomial time. Now let's discuss the first style of algorithm that can be used for constraint satisfaction problem. It is node consistency, and it is simplest of all. Node consistency requires that every unary constraint on a variable is satisfied by all values in the domain of the variable and vice versa. It is named node consistency as it is applied on single variable only, and single variable is node in constraint graph. For example, given a variable v, this is the variable set of the problem, with a domain of this 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the domain set for the example problem, and this is the constraint set for the example problem. Node consistency would restrict the domain to this. Only the allowable values that are allowable by the constraint are added in the domain set for this variable. This means that this variable is able to take any of the values from this domain set. Thus, domain set is reduced. This was the original, which consisted of 4 values, and this is of 3 values. The domain set has been reduced from original. It is to be noted that this new domain set, which is depicted by delta D, is of only those values that satisfy the given constraint. If all nodes in the network satisfy node consistency, then we say that this complete network is node consistent. This pre-processing step simplifies later stages. This is the most basic type of local consistency and check constraints only on single variable. Thus, unary constraints are main focus of this node consistency. When a variable is checked for node consistency, next step is to check whether it is arc consistent or not. Arc consistency is between two variables. Thus, binary constraints are involved. In arc consistency, we focus on how domain of one variable gets changed by changing value of other variable. For example, in map coloring problem, we had binary constraint values. That is, two variables were involved in the constraint at a time. Constraint was that no two neighboring nodes can have same color. Thus, two variables were constrained. NT can never have same color as WA, and vice versa. Also, SA can never take same color as WA and vice versa. When variable WA takes a color, let's say variable WA is assigned red. This reduces set of possible values that can be assigned to NT and SA. Thus, their domain set is reduced from 3 to 2 colors, green and blue. This is what arc consistency is. It is always in between two variables only. More formally, a variable is arc consistent with another one if each of its admissible values are consistent with some admissible values of the second variable. Map coloring problem is example of arc consistency, as constraints of problems were binary. This has already been discussed. The material has been provided for your own reading and understanding. Alright, we say that complete graph or network is arc consistent if every node or variable in network satisfies the binary constraint with other variables, as we saw in previous problem, the map coloring problem. This question is for your brainstorming. Was there any variable or node present in map coloring problem that was node consistent or not? Let's now discuss third type of local consistency algorithm, which is path consistency. We have discussed node consistency that reduced domain according to single variable, thus unary constraints were used. We have discussed arc consistency that was in between two variables, thus making use of binary constraint. Now, next level is to look for path consistency. Simply, a path consistent problem involves three variables. Thus, we will look at consistency of constraints with respect to ternary constraints. Now consider if initially given domain set of the map coloring problem consisted of only two values, red and blue. In this case, problem of binary constraints would never be solved. Thus, arc consistency fails here. When there are three variables involved in constraint relation, then path consistency is used. Usually, arc consistency handles the variable domain quite well. However, when we consider the assignment of three variables, the limitation of arc consistency appears, as it only handles two variables. Path consistency is a property similar to arc consistency, but considers relationship in between three variables. In this figure, as x1 can be different from x3 and x3 can be different from x2. Thus, arc consistency is satisfied. For example, if x1 is blue and x3 is red, then x2 can be blue as well. Thus, the property of being different from this and this is satisfied. Thus, this will be arc consistent. The arc consistent algorithm will return a result of success. However, it is obvious that there is no solution because there are only two colors in three variable domains. In order to solve it, the path consistency is required. Arc consistency will provide the incorrect result. Path consistency is between three variables. Instead of solving variables in pairs, path consistency takes relationship in between all of these three variables at a time and tries to solve it as per constraints. The path consistency algorithm is aiming to further reduce the variable domain after arc consistency is performed. It enumerates all the arc consistent pairs in the CSP and checks whether values in each pair are both arc consistent to at least one value in each of other variable domain which is related to both of the variables in the pair or not. Just like x2 in this example, as x2 is related to x1 as well as to x3. That is, in simple words, it considers all three variables together instead of considering pairs only. If not, the values of the pair will be removed from their domains. This algorithm will be iterated until no domain has been changed. Let's discuss this figure now. One of the relationship between x1 and x2 is x1 is equals to red and x2 is equals to blue. For this pair, x3 has no arc consistent value corresponding to it. Hence, red is removed from x1 and blue from x2. After algorithm finished its job, these three domains will be empty domains. The inconsistency is now discovered, which was impossible to be discovered by the arc consistence algorithm. The inconsistency is now discovered by enforcing path consistency, which was ignored otherwise in arc consistency. This example is from map coloring problem with only two values. The same has already been discussed in previous slide. This is for your information and self-reading. We are seeing a third variable NA with respect to two variables SA and WA. As three variables are involved, thus it becomes path consistency. When there are more than three variables related to each other through some constraint, then we say that they are K consistent. K can be any value greater than 3. It can be 4, 10, 15, 50, etc. K is actually number of variables having relationship with each other based on some constraints. We say that a variable is 4 consistent if it satisfies all the lower level consistencies as well, which are node, arc and path consistency. Same goes for any level consistent problem. All lower level consistencies must be satisfied by it. If it is K consistent, then it must satisfy consistency one level below it, which is K minus 1, and all the way to node consistency, which is at lowest possible level of local consistency. Time complexity of local search algorithms is bigger notation of n square into d, where n is total number of nodes in the problem and they are all strongly consistent, which means that they do not violate any rule, and d is number of values in the domain, total number of values in the domain. This is the worst case running time for the algorithm, and time complexity of any algorithm is always calculated for worst amount of time that it takes to run. This completes the lecture for today. Take care. Allah Hafiz.